Now, if you were going to put yourself in the England camp, how do you go about beating India?
Well, I think if I'm in the England camp, I think I will just make sure that I focus on what the England team has done well, remarkably well over the last 18 to 24 months. Yes, just now India displaced them from the number one spot in ICC rankings, but they've really played well in the ODI format, in the white ball cricket. The approach with which they've done, over the last 15 to 18 months, where they went out and played fearless cricket, and that's something which is so important when you're playing against a team like India, because the challenges for England will be how they'll counter the Indian bowling lineup. Yes, the strength of the Indian side has always been their batting. There's Virat Kohli, there is MS Dhoni, there is Rohit Sharma, but at the moment, I think it's very important for England to think about the Indian bowling lineup. You've got Bumrah, who's probably the best bowler in the world. You've got Shami, who's really in good rhythm. Then you've got two wrist spinners in the middle overs who can come and take wickets. So England should back themselves, should not be under pressure, because this is a must-win situation for England. So as long as they back themselves and play their A game, I think they will do well against India.
And now, obviously, India undefeated so far. There have been questions around the middle order. Is Vijay Shankar the right person in the right position?
Well, he's been selected to do that role. Unfortunately, he hasn't got the runs which Team India would have liked him to get, but he's a quality player, and I think that the time is running out for Vijay Shankar, because there is an experienced Dinesh Karthik in the squad. There is X factor in the form of Rishabh Pant, who's come as a replacement for Shikhar Dhawan, and India doesn't have a left-hander in that batting lineup, and as sun comes out, the wickets will get drier and drier, and the spinners will come into play. So India can use the X factor Rishabh Pant in the batting lineup. But I think as far as Vijay Shankar is concerned, it's all about going out and believing in himself, because he's a quality player. He is a potential match winner. He can contribute in the field. He's very good across the turf, and at the same time, I think he can give some extra overs if at all Virat needs them. So I think it's important for Vijay Shankar to just trust him in himself, and I don't see any change in the playing 11 against England. Probably it may be the last opportunity for Vijay Shankar. If he doesn't get runs against England, then probably the team management will look for a change.
Who would you bring in?
Well, again, it's a choice based on the conditions, based on the opposition, because there is Dinesh Karthik, who can play the role at number 4, who can play the role at number 6. He's done well as a finisher over the last 12 to 18 months in T20 cricket and also in ODIs. He's got that experience. And then Kedar Jadhav can bat at number 4. Or if there are spinners in the opposition team and the conditions will suit the spinners, then I would definitely have the option of Rishabh Pant. So it's a choice based on the conditions and based on the opposition team India is playing.
And are you backing India to win? Or how close do you think this game might be?
Yeah, I'm backing India to beat England, because I think they've probably played 70 to 80% of their potential, but they've, except for the Afghanistan match, they've not been challenged. So I believe that they're top of their game, and I think India will start favourites against England. But for me, it's a real test of character of this English team, because not very often you see an English team almost start favourites at the start of the World Cup to lift the trophy. But they've had a hiccup against Sri Lanka. They had a hiccup when they lost against their arch rival Australia at Lord's. So this is real test for them, because if they lose this game, then they won't qualify for the semis. So can they come and get their A game against India? It's going to be a real treat to watch.
It is going to be a treat to watch. Another two teams who are facing each other very soon, Australia and New Zealand at Lord's. You know David Warner really quite well. What have you made of his batting as he's come back into the international side?
I think he's been very consistent. Yes, there's a lot of talk about his strike rate, but what I've seen with David Warner, he definitely regrets what happened in Cape Town, and no cricketer who wants to achieve excellence, and David Warner is one of those cricketer sports person who always strive to achieve excellence, takes a lot of pride representing the Australian team. So he missed 1 year of international cricket. Once you do that, you have a value on your wicket, and that's something which you're seeing from David Warner's performance so far in this World Cup. He's valuing his wicket, which is good. Because of that, he'll be more consistent. Now the choice for David Warner and Australia is what kind of role the Australian team expects from David Warner. Would they want David Warner to go and play the aggressive brand of cricket which we know David Warner is capable of doing, which he always did right from the start of his career, or do they want consistent runs? And once David Warner gets those consistent runs, I believe that Australia will be well placed, as far as the batting is concerned. David Warner and Australia is lucky that Aaron Finch at the other end is striking the ball really well. His strike rate is more than 100, 110. So David Warner can afford to take some time, but as long as he's performing consistently, getting that big hundreds, and you saw in the game against Bangladesh, he started off slowly, but once he gets to his 100, his strike rate really skyrockets. So he's still striking close to 100, which is exceptional.
And just finally, one other player you've had a lot to do with is Rashid Khan.
Yeah.
He's had an up and down, I guess you could say, kind of tournament. What have you made of that?
Yeah, I think Rashid will be disappointed with the way World Cup has gone for him and for Afghanistan, because it's one team. Afghanistan is one team which has really blossomed over the last couple of years, especially in white ball cricket. T20 is definitely their forte, but even in one days, the way they progressed and qualified for the World Cup was really good to see. But they played below their potential, and a lot was expected from Rashid Khan because he was that attacking bowling option, a wicket-taking option for Afghanistan, but he has not fulfilled his expectations. Forget about the expectations of the team, but he's someone, again, like David Warner, who takes a lot of pride in what he does, irrespective of which team he plays for. It's a different experience for Rashid Khan because he hasn't had experience of playing in England for a long time, and it's always a challenge for a spinner who's playing for the first time at such a big tournament in England in conditions which probably till 2 or 3 days back were not ideal for spinners. It was cold, it was wet. So I think he will learn from this experience and get better because he's young in his career, and I'm sure that he's always had the attitude of improving and learning, and I'm sure this experience will help him to get better.
Well, it has been cold and wet, but it's not anymore. That's the main thing. So enjoy the next couple of days.
Thank
I
you.
hope you raise a lot of money for those kids.
Hopefully. I'm sure that we all will try to make a difference.